Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Des, and today I think we're gonna have a little desk chat. The very first thing I want to start off with and say is thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. That is absolutely wild to me. It's kind of like a dream come true. I have been making a lot of videos these last couple of months, and I've really had a goal to get monetized by the end of this year. And it's the start of November and it happened. So, like, yes, it helps that I made a lot of videos, but it wouldn't be possible without you guys watching them and commenting and encouraging me to keep sharing with you. So thank you so much. I really sincerely appreciate it, and I'm so happy to have this online space to talk about journaling and hobbies and all of these fun things. I hit 1K subscribers the other night, and it happened unexpectedly. I just got like a little rush of followers, and I actually cried, you guys. If you saw the community post on my YouTube channel, I shared a picture that's not very flattering, but was exactly what I looked like in the moment when I saw that I gained those subscribers and that we hit 1,000. I was just really, really blown away and feeling very grateful and excited. That was over the weekend, and then today, actually, I checked my YouTube studio and I am eligible to be monetized now as well. I don't know exactly how long that process takes, so I signed up for the AdSense and everything. You don't need to know all of that, but just know that you guys subscribing and watching my videos and your comments and everything, all of that made it possible for me to reach this point, and I'm really excited. So yeah, thank you. That was a long-winded way of saying thank you. But also, since we have a lot of new people on the channel, and I feel like this is like a good milestone for maybe doing a Q&A, so I'm gonna ask you just right off the top of the video, in the comments, please ask me your questions. You can ask me literally anything. The only thing I'm not gonna tell you is where I live and my, bank account numbers. So, everything else is pretty much free game. It doesn't have to be like journaling content. It can be personal if you'd like to know more about me or like what I do in my day-to-day. Definitely feel free to ask me your questions. I obviously have lots of hobbies, and I'm happy to answer questions about anything. So if you want to know about like journaling things, like supplies, stationery, stickers, organization, storage, or fountain pens, I already have had a few questions because I did ask on Instagram and on that community post for questions. So I've already had a few questions come in. One was like asking about how to get started with fountain pens. One was asking about how to get started with knitting. So yeah, ask me anything. I knit, I crochet, I sew, I have lots of cozy hobbies, and I read a lot too. So book questions are also welcome. But yeah, I would love, love, love if you would ask me some questions in the comments, and I will answer them in a big Q&A video, maybe the next video or the video after. I'm filming this video kind of late. Normally I film over the weekend. Today's Wednesday. I just had a really, really busy weekend and kind of been a busy week. So yeah, I had to push the video back a little bit. So the Q&A video will come soon, as long as you guys ask me questions. You have to ask me questions for me to do a Q&A video, okay? So put your questions in the comments. Do it now, please. I'm begging. That being said, I have been really busy lately. My husband and I are like planning some things. I'm not having a baby. I'm gonna say that right now, because every time I mention something that's like possibly a life update, people ask me if I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. But we are having some possible life update things happening right now, and it's stressful, and exciting, but I just don't want to like mention it before it happens, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to figure everything out right now, so I don't want to like jinx it or something, or say something and then it not happen. So anyways, may have a life update coming for you soon. Also, I do apologize if this lighting is terrible. It's like 6:30 p.m. and it's absolutely pitch black outside. I get off work at like 5, and the sun was like pretty much already gone today at 5 p.m. So basically, if I don't film on the weekend during the day, then I'm not going to be able to film during the week if this lighting situation doesn't work. I think it's actually okay. It's not the best, but it will probably work if we need to film like this once in a while. The next thing I wanted to do was switch out the postcard on my A5 cover. So in my last video, the autumnal journal setup that we did, I changed all of this deco in my cover. And so we did the inside and we decorated the calendars, and then I realized that like I could have changed this postcard out for a slightly more autumnal one. And I flipped through all of my postcards and I found this one that is from Grand Teton National Park, and I feel like it has like the perfect autumn color palette on it. And I bought this when I went to Grand Teton for my friend's wedding this summer. So this is just like a special postcard, and I thought that it would be really nice to have that in my cover right now. So let's go ahead and switch this over. So the postcard in here is kind of just plopped in from the side. I think this is how I did it. Yeah. So I open the cover and lay it flat, and then just slide it in the side here. So it's not like taped in or anything. So it does move around, but it mostly stays generally in the right spot. So I don't mind too much. And we can like shift it a little bit. I think it needs to go over a little bit more. Oops. Yeah, I think that looks cute. Oh, this postcard is so pretty. And this book is getting so heavy. I've been kind of terrible at writing in here the last couple of months, but it's still getting so chunky. I'm using my weeklies like very consistently, but my dailies are like kind of hit and miss. So I did think about doing like an October flip through for you, but then I like flipped back through my pages in my various journals, and the only one I was consistent with was my hobbies journal. And a couple of videos ago, we did like a whole thing in here, and we like went through and filled out everything for October, and I talked about everything I've been like watching and listening to and reading and all of that. So I feel like if you would like to know about it, we pretty much did all of that in a previous video. I will link it for you. So yeah, go watch that hobbies journal with me video. But that's pretty much like the only journal I kept up with in October. I barely wrote in my daily pages. I barely wrote in my Moleskine pocket journal either. And I didn't write at all in my 5-year. So it's a little bit disappointing, but I'm trying something right now in November where it's okay if I don't keep up with my A5, my pocket Moleskine, and my 5-year journal all at once, because the 3 of them have like a lot of duplicated information. So as long as I'm writing in one of them, it doesn't really matter which one. Just as long as I'm writing in one of them, kind of about what happened during my day, then it's fine. So in November, I haven't written in my daily pages yet, but I have been writing in my pocket Moleskine. I think every day this month I've done that. So I have at least like a log or a record of what I've been doing this month. And I feel better about that because I can kind of backfill my 5-year journal for sure. And then I'm kind of looking at my A5 as more of a flexible journaling space for me to write about whatever I want, whatever I feel like. And I just haven't really felt the need to use it very much. I've also been doing other hobbies, so I've been a little bit preoccupied and not been wanting to spend a lot of time in that journal, which is okay. And then my hobbies journal, I'm trying to keep up with as well. And I've been good at keeping up with this. And yeah, so I'm just writing about like what I'm reading and what I'm crafting in here basically. So that's going pretty well. Yeah, speaking of hobbies, I want to show you my knitting that I've been doing recently. It's been like my hyperfixation for, I don't know, like the last month. It has been my main hobby of choice recently. So if you don't want to see the knitting, you can skip ahead to the next section. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. I know not everyone cares about the knitting, but I want to show you something. In our last desk chat, I showed this triangle shawl that I've been working on, and it's grown considerably since I last showed you. You're not going to be able to see it all on the camera, but I can show you that this is all the yarn that's left. It's actually still quite a lot of yarn, but it's only 2 colors. I just have brown and then this pink left. And it had all of these colors in it to begin with. Let's see. So, yeah, so it went from this like pinky to red to orange to yellow to like 3 or 4 different shades of green, and then now into blue, and it kind of went into a darker blue and is now kind of turning into brown over here. And yeah, I'm making a lot of progress on this. It's getting kind of big. It's still like, yeah, I still have a lot of work to do on it, but every week I move this stitch marker to where I'm at. So I've not knit very much this week. Previous weeks I was knitting like several inches because I was so fixated on my knitting, and this was the only project I had going. And then I started thinking about Christmas and like gift knitting, and then I started casting on some new things, and this has kind of fallen to the wayside. As you can see in the last week, I've only done like a half of an inch, maybe an inch. I think that's less than an inch. And today's Wednesday and I have not moved this stitch marker, which means I have not touched this. I think I haven't worked on it at all this week. So I will have to move my stitch marker up and get back to working on that. But what I have been working on are scrunchies. So in my last desk chat also, I showed some yarn that I had purchased, and I believe I showed these ones off. This one is made out of Lion Brand Kobu in the color Steel Blue. And this was my first try, and this one I'm keeping for myself because it did not turn out amazing. And I do really want a blue scrunchie, so yeah, this one I will be keeping for myself. And I've learned since I made this one, each one has been a learning process. But basically, I am just now learning how to like join in the round in my knitting, and instead of knitting just back and forth. And so this was my first time knitting in the round, and it went pretty well. I will say this yarn is like a cotton bamboo mixture, and it's very splitty, and it's not the most soft thing ever. And then I put a hair tie in here that's a kind that I don't really like. So I don't love the way that it feels. Also, I used mattress stitch to seam this one, and I think it looks okay. This is the start of it, and it took me a minute to get the hang of it, so this part looks terrible. That's why I'm keeping this one for myself. I keep trying to rotate the seam into the center, and I've crocheted scrunchies before, so like I know how the construction works, but for the life of me, this will not rotate. And I think it's because of the type of hair tie I have in here. It's like too thick and weird. So this is just what it's gonna have to look like. So yeah, that was my first scrunchie. My second scrunchie, I used Lion brand Trubu, which is similar to the Kobu, except for it's 100% rayon from bamboo. So this one, honestly, is a bit softer and a tiny bit less splitty. It's still pretty splitty. So there's definitely some mistakes in here where I've like gone in between the thread of the yarn and like goofed some stuff up, but this one turned out much better. I knit the tube on this one only to 3 inches, and then you fold it over and seam it, so you only get about half for the finished scrunchie. And I thought that it needed to be a little fuller, so this one I knit the tube to 4 inches, and it knit up really, really fast. And I think that this one looks much better. It's like much fuller. And I used mattress stitch again to seam this one, and I keep also trying to rotate it to the center. It also might just help once it starts getting used. My crochet scrunchies, the seam kind of like chills out after a little while, but it has to have a seam, right? You have to have a way to close it. So I don't think it looks terrible. It looks a little bit funny, but instead of a hair tie in this one, I used elastic. I used like 1/8 of an inch elastic, like super tiny elastic, and I cut it to about 8 inches and then just tied it and then used that as like the hair tie. And I like that a lot better. So I like this one a lot. I think this is really pretty and it's really soft. So that was my second scrunchie. And then my third scrunchie, I used Lion brand Baby Soft, I think is what it's called. And this is the twinkle color. And I knit it in the same way. And I knit the tube to 4 inches again. And then when I was about to fold it in, I realized that like the stockinette or the garter stitch side, which is this side, looked cuter than the knit side, like this stitch. So I decided to put the stockinette side on the inside and then show the garter stitch on the outside, and it's so cute. This yarn is so soft, and it was really wonderful to work with. It wasn't splitty. It's very soft, and I love like a speckled print like this. I think it's so cute. And then this one I think had just a little bit too much elastic in it. I like a little bit more feedback from the elastic, I guess. And so I used 7 inches of elastic in this one, and it's so much better. So much better. This one looks fuller than the pink one as well. I'm not quite sure why that is, but this yarn might just be a teensy bit thicker than the Trubu one. And I seamed this kind of with a mattress stitch as well, though it was a little bit harder for me to tell where to place my seam when I was sewing it closed. Just because I'm used to the stockinette, it's easier for me to find where to put my needle through. And so this one is a little bit different, but I did get the seam to sit more in the center. So it's a little bit more hidden. And I think this one looks really nice. Looks really cute. So these two are going to be gifts. I'm not going to say who they're gifts for in case they're watching. I don't really think that my family really watches. I think my mom watches, but just in case. Yeah, so these are what I've been hyper focused on. I made all 3 of these in like the last few days. It's Wednesday. I probably started doing this like Sunday or Monday. So I've been a fiend for scrunchie knitting. A few videos back, I talked about my Hobonichi wish list. I think that was back in September when they released everything. And I mentioned that I was going to wait to purchase everything until like November, and it's November now, and some things that I had wanted had sold out, so I was just kind of waiting, and those things are back in stock now, specifically the Through the Purple Night Hobonichi Weeks, because that's what I want to use for my like reading journal. And now that it's back in stock, I'm kind of in a spot where I'm trying really hard not to spend money, especially on hobbies, and that Hobonichi order is going to be quite expensive. It is all of my books for next year, plus a bunch of accessories, and things that I wanted are back in stock now, but now I don't really want to make the purchase because I am trying not to spend money. So we are trying to like figure some financial things out right now. We're not like in a bad spot or anything. We're just trying to figure some things out. And so it's definitely going to have to wait until at least December. At worst case, I may purchase in January, or like really close to January, like really close to the start of the new year, maybe after the new year, once we have things kind of figured out better. But this also seems like a great time for my YouTube channel to be monetized, because if like these things go forward that I'm talking about in our life update, I will just generally be spending less on hobbies. I just like talking to you guys on the internet and sharing these things. So if I can get a little bit of money to kind of put back into my hobbies and thus back into this channel, that would be really cool. But I guess worst case scenario is I get rid of all of the accessories from my Hobonichi order and just order like the essential books. Or maybe I just find other cheaper planners for next year. I'm not super sure yet. I will keep you updated. So we'll probably have another desk update in the next like month or so, and I will talk to you guys about all of that. Yeah, I don't think I have too much else to talk about today. I do want to do another journals update, like system update for you, I think. I'm still experimenting a little bit. I know for sure that I can keep it, like I want to keep my system to the A5 hone, the A6 hone, and the Hobonichi weeks. So like the books that I want are going to stay the same, and I've been in these books for almost the entire year, and I've been using them very like the very same way for quite a while now. And so I feel very confident that those 3 books will work well for me, and that I might just move some like small things around in them. Like I might switch what the monthly calendars are for from this book to that book. And I might switch the daily pages up a little bit, which I think is fine. But yeah, you're definitely not going to see me planner hopping. I feel very comfortable in the books that I'm in. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I feel comfortable buying my Hobonichi books now. I just need to wait a little bit just to make sure that like finances are for sure where I need them to be, because these planners are expensive. And I think like that's something that's really important to talk about, and maybe we like don't talk about it a lot in the community. I know some people do, but this is an expensive planner. Like you can go to Target and get a planner for $5, $10, $15, $20 even, and you are still way under what these cost. Like I think the Hobonichi weeks costs close to like $20 or $30, depending where you're getting it from, or like when you're getting it, right? So they are very high quality, of course, but the consumerism can definitely get out of hand, right? So like this is an expensive planner, and like I think it's important to talk about these things. So yeah, I'm just trying to be smart right now about finances and about money. And previously, like I didn't want to purchase everything right when the release happened, because I was trying not to get so sucked up in it that I just made impulse purchases. I've had my cart together, right? Like I put things in my cart September 1st, and I put everything in my wish list September 1st or before. Like when they had uploaded everything before the release, I had a whole wish list put together, and I've been working off of that wish list for September, October, November. Even into August, I was already planning. So like 3 months that I've been taking things out and putting things in and playing with things and looking at things to like genuinely decide what I want. And I feel really good about that. I feel like I'm being very intentional about what I'm choosing to purchase. And like, even though I feel quite comfortable in my books, I still really wanted to make sure that the things that I was choosing are things that are going to last me all of next year, because it is an investment. And yeah, anyways, that's a rant, but yeah, thanks for listening to my rant, I guess. Anyways, so yes, thank you for joining me for this little desk update today. I'm sorry it wasn't something more like fun and in my planners. It kind of just needed to be something quick for me this week, and I really wanted to talk to you guys and say thank you, of course, again for 1K. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And don't forget to leave me your questions. Leave me as many questions as you want. Like, seriously. I'm not kidding. If you aren't limited to one question. Ask me whatever you want. I'm really excited to like get to know you guys a little bit more and to continue making videos and hanging out with you guys. It's seriously so much fun to have this little community. And yeah, I'm really grateful. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, friends. Does that smell good?